We are live. This is Dr. Bridget Williams of Green Harvest Health, and this is the Wellness Toolkit. I'm always excited to be back here, every other Thursday, and have an amazing conversation with people in the holistic space. Our goal here at the Wellness Toolkit is to provide you with information about holistic options to add to your wellness toolkit so that whether it's illness or healthy living or whatever it is that you need to tackle, that you have more options to pick from to live a better life. And so today we have, it's not just one, it's not two, it's three of us on here today. And we are very excited to have Mary Johnson of the Vitiman Cafe. Hi, Mary, how are you?
Hi, I'm great.
It's great to have you. And yes, we have our residential powerhouse, Tim Lewis.
Oh, man.
Yes, it gets better every time, right? Better every time. It's great to have both of you here. So let's first start. Today is the V in CBD. And if you don't know what it is, then it's probably past your bedtime. So we're doing a wellness toolkit talk about women's health and holistic health options. We're bringing Mary in today because she has an amazing story, but I want Mary to first introduce herself and her amazing cafe and everything that she does. Go ahead, Mary.
Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm Mary Johnson. I am the owner of Vitamin Kandie Cafe, Vitamin Kandie LLC, and BK Fitness. I started my company back in 2010 when I first started using my cold pressed juices to help me with my weight loss journey, and became a certified personal trainer. I really got serious about it around 2015 and kind of made it a household name and put the juices in my gym. And now I'm selling it out of my cafes, online, website, all that good stuff. And what started it was I lost over 120 pounds after I decided to take my health back, because of course, gaining all that weight isn't good for the body. And so it's a blessing to be able to have that platform and help people along the way with all natural products and things of that sort. But I guess I can get into the V and CBD while we're...
Well, let's introduce, Tim, I want you to talk a little bit about what you do and how you contribute to everything that we do around here.
So my name's Tim Lewis. I am simply the guy that sees things that need to be connected. So I'm an all natural connector. That's what I like to call myself. So I see and meet and introduce myself to see what spaces I can connect people and help them shrink the world. So that's what I would say I do. I try to shrink the world one idea and one dream at a time.
Absolutely. And you do it extremely well, and we appreciate you. So with this being a women's talk, and we have our residential male opinion in here too, we're excited to kind of share this with everyone. Now, we just did this last night on Clubhouse, which went amazingly well. It was a lot of fun. It was the first time I've done Clubhouse. I don't know if Mary, if you've done that before.
Yeah, that's my first time too. I've been in rooms, but not on the stage.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm sure, Tim, you probably have done more than your share, I can assume.
That was my first one that actually had substance to it. Yeah, because like a big chat line. So that one was definitely different. And having that energy be able to help moderate definitely was a different tone for me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was great. And so just to kind of get started, just talking about where CBD fits in, right? Because we're all connected one way or another through CBD or cannabis. And cannabidiol is a non-psychoactive, meaning it does operate in your brain, but it does not cause that euphoric high that you get from THC. It's a compound that's coming from cannabis or hemp plant, and it helps balance out your endocannabinoid system. And we're starting with this because it all ties in together when we're all said and done. Well, the endocannabinoid system helps regulate every other system in your body, including our reproductive system. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. But I want to get into Mary's story, right? So we're always talking about holistic options on the Wellness Toolkit. beyond CBD and cannabis. And Mary has a unique story about how traditional medicine actually failed her and how holistic options made all the difference. So go ahead and share what happened with you.
Thank you, Dr. Bridget. So about 2 years ago, I was pretty much diagnosed with menopause. Being a fitness trainer that I am, very hard on the workout, and I wanted to reach these high goals and do a bodybuilding competition. And once I completed the competition, I had some, mix-ups in my system where it stopped my cycle. And I was very concerned because I'm not a mother, so I haven't had any kids yet. And I was like, well, let me see what's going on. Well, that led me to going to my OBGYN and getting some testing done. And ultimately, I was diagnosed with menopause, early menopause. Well, I didn't want to lay down on her answer to that question, to that, to what I had asked about. And I was like, well, let's take it a step further. What can I do to, stop this or, to reroute this? Because I don't have any symptoms. I'm not flashing and, all the symptoms that you would get from having menopause. And so she suggested, if I wanted to take it a step further, that I can go and get some genetic testing done. Mm-hmm. So I did the genetic testing through Cleveland Clinic, and I went through a series of tests, so many I can't even name. And they tested me, and it came back that they didn't know what it was that caused me to have menopause. And from their records, I'm not premenopausal or even going through menopause. Mm-hmm. So I was very concerned still about not having a cycle. And I did a little research, and I found an herb called mugwort. And I started using that herb to mix with sea moss that I had already been using for years and years and years, and that I actually sell at the cafe, to reroute my system to make me start having cycles again. So I did this for about 30 days, where I would take this like teaspoon of mugwort and this sea moss. It's called like a yanni blend for women. Mm-hmm. It targets our vaginal area. Mm-hmm. And within like 3 days, I started getting the menstrual symptoms that I used to get. Mm-hmm. And there it was. I had a cycle, and pretty much it just fixed my system. But I'm glad I didn't stop at what the doctor said and was like, you're going through menopause, because it scared the living daylights out of me, because I want to have children, and I hadn't had any children, I haven't been pregnant yet. And I was like, you know what? I'm not just going to give up. I'm going to go and see what I can do. And so I thank God for herbs, because it really did help me. So if anybody else is going through something like that, just don't stop there. Find out what it is that you can do to cleanse yourself. And that's pretty much what mugwort and sea moss did for me. Mm-hmm. Cleanse me. And I'm pretty sure it was some kind of blockage there, because mm-hmm. when you're heavy lifting, you kind of stop a lot of things that's going on with you that would be a natural flow. You just changed your muscular development in your body, and mm-hmm. your muscular system, I should say. And so you don't want to go to the extreme, being mm-hmm. a female and not knowing what can come out on the other side of that. So
absolutely. So you were already taking the sea moss, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then you added the mugwort into that, right? So the first thing I hear is that it seems that very easily they assumed menopause. And at the time you were how old?
37. Yeah.
So it seems like pretty quickly, particularly for someone that was doing the type of strenuous exercise that you're doing, it's mm-hmm. not uncommon that we see it with gymnasts all the time, young girls that are doing a lot of strenuous exercise, that they might stop their cycles because it interrupts their normal hormonal regulation, right? And I am assuming because that you weren't a teenager, that they kind of jumped the gun and took you all the way to menopause. That's the only thing I can really assume from that. But what's really, if you don't hear this part of the story, is that she took something that you could have laid down on it, like you said, and just assumed and just kind of decided to ride this out. But what you didn't said was you were empowered.
Yeah.
right? You empowered yourself, you became educated. So what do you think really the difference is between, and you've done this more in your life, you've lost over 100 pounds, right? You were given some information that could have been devastating to some, and then you turned it around and transformed your life as well as your business. What
Yeah.
do you think is different about you than people who kind of get in these difficult situations and I guess all but give up? How do you think you're different?
I think I'm different because I'm always kind of like competing with myself, and it's like
Mhm,
me against me, so to speak. And
mhm.
my faith is like at an all-time high too. I've been like that since a kid. I mean, my mom raised me that way. So it's like you can't take the first answer and just be like, this is what it is, because that's someone else's opinion. It's about
Mhm.
what you feel in the inside, and if it didn't sit right, then you go and you figure it out, or maybe get a second opinion, because
Sure.
sometimes everyone isn't always right, or doctors aren't always right,
Right, right.
so then and it's different situations for people too. Just because someone my age at 37 at the time, could be premenopausal, doesn't mean that I can be premenopausal just because I fit in that category.
Exactly. And I think that's something that happens too often, right? That you fit the
Yeah,
demographic,
yeah.
and so therefore it must be this, right? So even with my, medical practice, 20 years, one thing that I always would go back to is that I'm not in your body, right? So I can pull together the information, I can use my medical knowledge, I can use the past experience from other patients. But again, if it doesn't sit right with you, you're not insulting me. You have to feel right about it,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah, yeah.
so, whatever it is that you need to do, however I can support that journey, then that's what needs to happen, because I am not in your body. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people turn away from traditional medicine, because that connection is lost, right? That wanting to understand the patient and not just the disease. And that's where I think we kind of fall under.
And if I can add,
Mhm,
like medicines is like, I think the norm for people is medicines fix everything.
mhm, mhm.
It's all natural things that we can be using that our ancestors used, when
Mhm.
there wasn't such things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think so. Traditional medicine turned from I believe a real connection. I think traditional medicine initially was much more connected to the patient, and then with pharmaceuticals, and instead of seeing patients, that giving them the time they need, we're on this conveyor belt, factory like visits, that the opportunity to connect is gone.
Mhm.
And with pharmaceuticals, it's diagnosis and pills. And it's this almost automatic, instead of saying, wait, what can we do to, how does this fit for you? Because pills might not be the answer for you. I'm not anti-pharmaceutical by any means. I think when we need it, we need it. And thank God we have these options, right? But I do think that what people are searching for is more connection. And if anyone had stopped long enough to have more conversation with you, I'm sure that scenario would have gone a little bit differently within the medical realm, right?
I
They
agree.
would have
Is
asked
there,
more
is
questions.
there anything that they subscribe women, not subscribe, but prescribe women for menopause? Like, is there a certain type of medicine, or what do they, try to prescribe women for menopause?
Right. So for someone like Mary, or even teens, if their cycle stops and prematurely or unexpected, usually you're put on something that helps regulate those periods to kind of get them back, usually birth control pills or what have you, to help to get your cycles back in track. There's other medications that we use as well to kind of stimulate that hormonal cycle again in a different way. However, and I think they did offer those
They offered
options.
me hormones and birth control.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, hormones scared me
Right.
because I don't want something to start growing in the wrong place.
Right. Right.
Honestly, but yeah, I was just like, nah, I'll try something else first. If this doesn't work, then I'll probably,
Revisit it.
yeah.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, there were options available. But a lot of people feel that way about hormones.
Mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about the CMOS though, because you were using that even beforehand. Tell me about how CMOS got to be really not just part of your healthy living, but it's what you offer a lot at your cafe as well.
So back in 2010, I started following Dr. CB um, through a friend of mine, and she was doing a cleanse, and she told me about this bromide powder that he sells, and she's like, you should try it because of losing so much weight at a rapid pace. It
Mhm,
really offsets your digestive tract where you don't go normal. And
mhm,
I like I am doing my research. I was like, I'm gonna try something natural because I didn't want to rely on over-the-counter medicines to help me go. And so when she told me about that, I started mixing the bromide powder with my now called recharge juice, and
mhm,
that I was cold pressing. And I would do this cleanse once a month to help me go. And then until I got back to normal, then after a while, I didn't even have to do it anymore because I had cleaned my track out so good that I didn't have to keep doing it. So I started helping people along the way to do that. And that's when the CMOS really started to get out there. But a lot of people know it from like bromide powder, not really CMOS. And then I would
mhm,
say just about a couple years ago that it really started getting popular to everyone else. But I just kept on using it because I was like, this is really beneficial to me. I
mhm,
noticed the difference in my skin.
mhm,
I noticed I didn't get sick at all. And even though I treat my body good and eat healthy, sometimes you can catch the common cold. And I
mhm,
was noticing all these things, and the mucus was removed from my body. And so
mhm.
I was like, I should keep this going. After giving it to a bunch of friends, and I started bottling it up, and hey, the rest is history.
Yeah, yeah. So the other thing that I hear that might be really different between you and everybody else, and even myself at times, is that you're consistent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very.
Like that's oh, I hate to say it, but that's almost a rarity. To be consistent, find something that work even when you know it works,
Mhm.
people are not consistent, right?
It's
And
hard to be consistent. I mean, for the average person, if you're working a 9 to 5, especially people with children, uh,
mhm,
it's pretty hard to do that. And at the time, I was single and was
mhm,
able to do a lot of things that was just pertinent to me. But I can probably say if I had a family around that time, then it might have been a little harder.
mhm,
But like I say, it's always me versus me. And if I set my mind to do something, I will not stop until I get it completed because I'm on my own schedule. I'm in my brain. It's like, you got
mhm,
to complete this task before you go to the next one. And so
mhm. Yeah,
consistency is definitely key in my life.
absolutely. So let's talk. I still want to kind of dig into the sea moss, which is basically an algae, right? Also called Irish moss or
There's different kinds of
right.
sea. So the most popular one that people know about is the Irish
Mhm,
sauce, and you can get it in powder form. You can get it in. It kind of looks like seaweed, but not really. I
mhm,
call it noodles
yeah.
because the raw form kind of looks like noodles.
Mhm,
Or you can get it in the gel form, which you could turn the raw form into the gel, and
mhm,
it's about 92 minerals that we need, for our bodies. And you can take it in a pill form, the gel form, or just some people I know really chew the actual sea moss. Yeah, it's a little earthy taste. I tried it, of course. I tried it so I could be able to talk about it. Not
right, right.
good,
Yeah.
but yeah. So it's pretty much it helps with all kind of ailments that you may have. I've heard and studies have shown
Mhm,
it helps with like high blood pressure, diabetes,
mhm,
heart disease,
mhm,
sexual health,
mhm.
skincare, um, releasing the mucus out of your body, all kinds of things. It's so many things on a list I can't even name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, some of the things I pulled up, and this might have been part of how you got involved, is that it does help with weight loss,
Oh
muscle
yeah.
building,
Hmm.
and fantastic for your immune system. Like you said, 92 vitamins and minerals in it, and great for energy. So always offering that disclaimer that, of course, there isn't tons of research behind this, but on the Wellness Toolkit, we talk about holistic options, and hopefully with more knowledge, we'll have more research, right?
Yes.
And the other part is that there is iodine in it. And for some people, iodine can be dangerous if you're getting way too much of it, because it interferes with your thyroid hormone. And so that's something to take into consideration as well. The other piece was that there's like supposedly there's sexual enhancement, like you were referring to that it increases testosterone, increases sperm count, increases fertility for men. So this is something that you would think would be everywhere. And I know you said it's increased in popularity, but is it, I don't have any, so I figured, I don't know.
So,
Right. So, maybe after today, I don't know, but no, it sounds like there's a lot of positives to it. And obviously it was very positive for you as well.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then kind of came into your business and we'll get into some pictures and with that in a little bit as well. So, let's talk a little bit just about kind of getting back to the CBD and cannabis, right? And how our bodies are interact as far as our hormones and where CBD and cannabis fit in. And so estrogen levels are actually linked to our endocannabinoids. So as estrogen goes up, our endocannabinoids go up with ovulation, and early menopause has been found to be related possibly to low endocannabinoids, right? So that's that anandamide, that 2-AG, that having very, very low numbers might be the reasons that some people do go into early menopause, and something, it's not something we're testing for obviously at this time, but something that we need to take into consideration. And estrogen actually interacts with the endocannabinoids to regulate mood and with emotions. So some of those mood swings we associate with estrogen is actually stabilized with our endocannabinoids. So all of that's good stuff as well. Another thing to consider, cannabis is a vasodilator. It increases blood flow. And a 2017 study showed women who smoke cannabis have more sex, number for number. And that published in Sexual Medicine recently, that it actually, frequent users of cannabis actually have better orgasms. So now there's a lot of mixed messages when it comes to cannabis, right? There are people that see it as an aphrodisiac because it decreases anxiety, decreases pain. They see this for THC as well as CBD alone, okay? But we also talk about some of the downfalls, that high THC use, chronic users have less testosterone. It stunts sperm maturity. It increases abnormal sperm cells and decreases sperm count. Now, I was just talking about this in my class at the Cleveland School of Cannabis, and a lot of the guys hadn't heard of this before. Like, Tim, is this information that was new to you, or?
Yeah, I mean, like we discussed yesterday, it's definitely new. And I think really that's the difference in, like we was talking about, just trying to educate people on the benefits of CBD and everything not being so THC driven. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Trying something new, whether it's transitioning from smoking flower to going to gummies or even tinctures or even some type of topicals, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, that can help in certain situations. Because I think one of the biggest things, we're really not taught how to work with our body. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So besides, vitamins and vegetables, we really still don't know how a lot of this THC and CBD balances out or irregulate certain things, in our lifestyles that we choose, especially if you think about a lot of people that smoking 9 times out of 10 are drinking as well. So
Mhm.
how we really just do too much when it's almost a way that we can, do it in moderation and, get some real effects and benefits from it if it's done correctly.
Right, right. So it kind of counteracting
Yeah.
benefits that we could be getting from it.
Yeah.
And I think if you only think cannabis, or the best thing about cannabis is THC, and you think you are the cannabis advocate, then you are missing really the power of cannabis all around, I think, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you've got to take all of those other things into consideration, and we're only going to know more as time goes by. And if you have to really consider how you can utilize it in so many other ways of your life. So
Yeah.
without a doubt. So even like going back to the menopause thing, that cannabis can actually control temperature in your body. And so THC actually can lower your body temperature. And so that's another way that it can be utilized in a way that might be very positive for people, as well as helping with the in sleep issues that can arise with menopause, depression, anxiety, stress, pain, that can, all of these things that might be related as you're going through, these changes, right? So, all of that needs to be taken into consideration as well. So with that being said, how does CBD and cannabis fit in for you? Do you offer CBD options at the cafe right now?
No, not right now, but I in the very near future.
Great,
Body
great.
things tell me that
Yeah.
it's going to be something happening in the very near future.
Good, very, very good. Yeah. So, but you offer still, there's something you said yesterday that really stuck with me, in that you really want people to understand that instead of calling it healthy eating
Mhm.
or healthy foods, it should just be food. And the other stuff that we consider food should be, sometimes we label it as bad food, but more than not, it's just lunch. It's just dinner, right? And
Treats.
it's just right. And we need to kind of change our mentality, because it's almost like you say healthy eating and people are like, I don't, it's almost like, okay, that's a turn off. I don't want to eat that. And they don't even know what it is. And what you do at the cafe is make healthy eating just good food. And that's what it should be. It should just be good food, right?
Really good food. It's a wonderful experience. It was a blessing to be where I am in the inner city, because it's one of our food deserts, and that area really isn't into all of the healthy eating, and not
Mhm.
knowing that eating a veggie wrap can be the most tasteful thing that you ever had, and it's real food. It's normal food.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm so blessed to have them be receptive of what I do there, because now it's so popular that we can't even close the doors when it's closing time. Like, seriously,
Right.
and it's
Right.
free. All of my sauces are vegan, no dairy there,
Mhm.
but they wouldn't even know the difference. If I told them that, they probably would say, no, I'm not going to try that because I don't eat vegan, or I
Right.
don't eat vegetarian. But if I give it to them and not say before, and then they'll be like, oh, I can't believe that tastes that good. So
That's a fact. That's a
Yeah.
fact. This the most vegetables I done ate in my life. To be honest, and it's a
I
difference.
love it.
And it's a difference when you go somewhere and you can see the energy that's getting put on your food. Because a lot of times
Yeah.
psychologically, I don't think we understand how somebody handling our food with a bad attitude can automatically play into, what that food is automatically going to do, good
Right.
or bad. So one thing I can vouch for, you know what I'm saying, about pulling up, is definitely I went from don't put this, don't put that on there, to I don't even say nothing no more. Just give me everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's the energy and you feel the difference. Like I question, like, am I hungry? Because I'm so used to eating. But once I went and got something that was actually healthy and good for me, it was like, I'm tripping. Okay, I don't have to stop and get a snack. I'm good. And one of those things I fell in love with is the chicken wrap. So it's really the education too is really in the color that she puts into it too, and the
Mhm.
way they present it. So I can really attest to that, where it's something that we need more in the inner cities for people to just
Yeah.
be able to taste their palates out, and see what you like, and the myth on stuff that you think you don't like because of how it's presented to you as a kid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
If you
Absolutely.
don't finish that, you can't get this. So it's all different types of blocks, but
yeah.
definitely, it's a difference when you go and somebody love what they do.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I
It's
think,
right.
what the brain really craves are nutrients. That's the job, right? Getting the nutrients to make your body function. And when you have food that is low in nutrients, then you're going to go back and be hungry again, because your body didn't, yeah, your stomach's full, you got okay, that worked for a minute, but your brain is still craving the nutrients. And when you have low nutrient foods, that's why you keep eating, right? Because you're trying to get those things somehow to make your brain and your body function correctly. And so like you were saying that you had the chicken wrap, and then all of a sudden you're like, actually, I'm not hungry again, because you were actually getting the things that your body was requesting all along. And that is a problem in the inner city. That is a problem with how our grocery stores are built, with aisles and aisles and aisles of low nutrient foods. And what we really need are the high nutrients that that our body actually craves. So you're definitely doing a good thing there as well. Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. So taking all that, I do have a question. What is the biggest misconception that people have about eating healthy or healthy food, or good food that we call healthy?
I think the biggest misconception is that everyone equates that with being on a diet.
Mm,
And it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change.
yeah.
So you're making a choice to either eat something that's good for you or something that's bad for you. So if you
Right.
decided to eat bad all week long, what kind of diet is that? So
Yeah.
stop using that word diet
Yeah.
and make it a lifestyle change if that's what you're really trying to do.
Right. And that's sustainable, right? A diet is never sustainable.
Never sustainable because it's a
Yeah.
temporary fix. We want forever. So
Right.
we want to
Right.
be healthy forever. So no
Yeah.
temporary fixes.
Yeah. So I want to kind of pull up some slides here because, Mary's talking about healthy lifestyle and maintaining this and but you don't know. Like, Mary has an amazing, amazing story. So let's kind of go there if I can find it. If it's on here. And hopefully, oh, I bet it's going to be a slow. This is Mary. This is her story. And this is not what you were thinking when she says, "Oh, I lost some weight." Tell us a little bit more about your journey, because this is you.
Yeah. So back then, I actually on the picture that says 248, I was 20, 25 years old. And
Mhm.
you would think I was older than that because I had let life get in the way
Mhm.
and stop caring about me. You wouldn't even know that I ran track and all that kind of stuff when I was younger than that, when I was like
Mhm.
in school and things of that sort. But I started college early and moved out the house early, and just kind of got so fixated on being a young wife at the time
Mhm.
and all those other things, and I put me to the wayside. But then after that, after about 25 years old, I was like, okay, now I have to get my life back, I have to
Mhm.
get back to who I really am. This is unhealthy. And I was told I was gonna be like diabetic if I didn't stop some of those things. So there it is, ring the alarm. I was
Mhm.
versus me, get
Was
back.
that the mark for you? Was that the calling when they said that you might be a diabetic? Like, what was the shift?
That, and then high blood pressure and cancer runs in my family. And just looking around at family members and things of that sort, I was like, I'm not gonna be like that. I'm not gonna be on medications, and I know I'm too young for this. Like, I have a
Mhm.
whole life ahead of me. I want to have kids one day, and I did not want to get pregnant looking like that. Like, and this
Mhm.
would be even harder. And then at the time, I was trying to become a police officer.
Mhm.
And I went and I passed the test, and I couldn't jump over the fence when it was time to do the physical part. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh no, something's got to stop. So that was what really lit my fire. And I joined the local gym and I started working out and eating properly. And a year in, I lost 100 pounds. And then I was like, okay, now what's the next step? I want to go further than this. And not me realizing that was influencing other people around me, because like I said, I was just in my own bubble.
Mhm.
Um, that second year after I had lost that weight, I had
And can I just cut? So you didn't have any surgeries?
no,
Okay,
no.
because that's the first thing that people are going to.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure you get that all the time.
no, yeah. Or it's
Yeah.
not you. That's fake. That's not a real picture.
Right.
Only those that know me know
Mhm.
that was really me, you know.
Right. And that this wasn't gastric bypass or sleeve or any
No.
of those things.
All hard
So
work.
just so that everyone understands, because I know that's what you're thinking, that this is you. This is you doing the work on your own.
Yes.
How hard was it for you to like find some things far as better options to like transition from? You know what I'm saying? Or did you already have a taste for some of these things, or did you have to go find certain things? Because I think one of the biggest things also when it comes to eating better is more so, how do I find something that isn't the same thing? You know what I'm saying? Because people will go salmon crazy, people will go
Mhm,
salad crazy. So
mhm.
being able to mix and match some things to just diversify what it looks like on a plate, because that plays a part in the people's, healthier eating. You know what I'm saying? Because from just a mental space, it's like, I already know what I'm eating tomorrow. And I know if this is a transition. I think that's the part where it's hard to separate the mentality of this is not a diet. Like you said, it's a lifestyle change. So
Mhm.
what was like some of the things that you gravitated towards to make you go deeper into different recipes or just finding different things, to just spark your interest on mixing it up and, not making it be the same meal day in, day out?
So I immediately cut red meat and pork. Immediately. I was like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Mhm.
And then I would meal prep and I would mix it up. I would do vegetarian and then I would do chicken and then I love tuna. So I would do the tuna. So and then some days when I was just like tired of eating that stuff, I would just go straight vegetarian because once you start getting those things, the good things in your body, it'll start to reject some of the other things. And I was very, very afraid of having too much mercury from like shellfishes and all that stuff. So my go-to was chicken if I didn't have anything else. But most of the time it was vegetarian meals when I would prep. That was my transition in the beginning. Yeah.
And I think it takes a little bit of time to change your palate, right?
Oh yeah.
So, sometimes when you're trying to make changes, you're used to eating a certain way.
Hmm.
And then you try something, you're like, okay, this is either not satisfying, not filling, doesn't taste right, whatever. It takes a little bit of time to change your palate to where it does taste good.
Yeah.
And it's that transition period that can be difficult for people because they want everything to taste like the old stuff,
Mhm.
but the old stuff wasn't really good for you. So,
Yeah, taste buds versus, how I feel.
mhm,
So a lot of
yeah,
times I know that's one of the biggest distractions is it don't taste like nothing, but you really not paying attention to how you feeling after you eat it. And I think that was one of the biggest things I started doing. Like I said, just understanding like I'm not hungry after I eat something from the cafe, and it's balanced and proportional enough where you good really. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the things that I just thought about, like finding stuff where it's just not the same old thing, because it's a slow step with a lot of us is trying to find the right things to eat or learning how to mix and match. Because I think the other thing is teaching us how to properly shop for better options. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? And how can I doctor this up so it doesn't, just taste bland? But like Doc said, it takes a minute for that palate to change. So it's not something where you can just dive right into it. You almost have to find your personal journey, what works for you,
yeah,
and find that balance.
right, right. And give your time a little time for that stomach to shrink as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially for me, like I had like I'm a planner.
Mhm,
So I would write out things that I would try to get accomplished during the week, and meal prep was one of them. But I'm a research buff too. I would do my research on my body type and
mhm,
what worked for my body type. Because as I was taking classes and working out at the gym, I was also a student. So I was learning, and I'm like, well, whatever my trainer tells me to do, obviously they know what they're talking about, so this is what I'm going to do. But if I don't like that, I'm going to see what the other alternative is that's even at the same level of health or even healthier for me to indulge in. And like things like nuts and water is a really good gap filler. I use
mhm,
water a lot because most of the time when I thought I was hungry, I really wasn't hungry. I was just thirsty.
mhm.
So water and the nuts was my gap filler. So I wouldn't go and through McDonald's drive-through and grab some fries real quick if I had to go like from one place to the next because I was hungry. I had some nuts or something sitting in the car so that I can stay on track.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just again, this is the Wellness Toolkit. I want people to see a little bit more about not just your journey, but where you landed, right?
Yeah.
And so obviously tell us a little bit about where you are and how they can contact you.
Okay, as you guys can see, I am at 1400 East 105th Street in Cleveland. That's the Glenville community. I'm there with 6 other awesome entrepreneurs. So I want to give them a shout out because we all really do work very hard with our businesses, and it's a variety of things. So you can get me healthy, and you can get like street food if you want to with Black Box Sticks. You got Living Rich. You have Piping Hot Grill, Cleveland Cold Brew. And then you have the Cleworks area where you can also rent office space over there too. So I just wanted to do that little shameless plug for them because, you know, we all need to support each other.
Absolutely.
But right there at 105th Street. And you can also order online. I do have DoorDash, so you can dash it if you want to, if you're in the area. And you can also get my products online at vitamincandie.com, spelled with the I and a K. Just so you guys know. I know it's spelled that way on purpose. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Very good. Beautiful logo too.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. And then on social media, how do they reach out to you?
So on Instagram, it's V Kandie Cafe. You can also follow the fitness page, which is VK Fitness CLE. That's VK Fitness CLE. And then it's attached to my personal page. I pretty much kind of draw them all together because I do motivational quotes and stuff mainly on my personal page, which is driven _ by _Faith J. And Facebook, Vitamin Kandie LLC. And then on Twitter, it's Vitamin Kandie LLC as well.
So in this picture, you're holding a book. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I am an author. It's actually, it's called From This to That, and it talks about my transformation. But not only does it do that, it's like a journal you can write in.
Oh,
and
good.
It shows you your body type and how to attack your weight loss goals or your healthy lifestyle change according to your body type, because no one is the same. Easy, quick read, and something you can keep for a lifetime, just in case you have to go back to it and dig in there and pull up some stuff that you did before to get back on track.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. You need a resource that you can go back to without a doubt.
Yeah.
And so I kind of was looking around and being nosy and started pulling up some things from your site. So tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here.
So at the top left up there, that's the juices. That is the cleanse. So the Vitamin Kandie started with Recharge, which is the green juice. And then it kind of elevated into those other 2 coming in, because once you flush the system, you want to reset it and boost up the immunity. And that's what the reset is. And then recovery, you can use it for a pre or post workout. It just provides energy for you. They're very, 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 very tasty. As you can see, the fruits on the outside of it is what pretty much self-explanatory what they taste like. And down at the bottom in the left-hand corner is my sea moss capsules. Now that's the Irish sea moss that I use to make those capsules. And those capsules are vegan, which means you can take it and put it on your tongue. It's made out of, vegan stuff. And then you put it on your tongue and it can melt, or you could just drink it or whatever, but it melts really fast, which means that it'll get to the bloodstream quicker. And then I have elderberry capsules that I make, which I use the same vegan capsules to make that out of. And then the green package you see here is the sea moss, which is the Irish sea moss as well, but this time it's in a gel form, and I infused it with wheatgrass. So you can get any of my sea moss can be infused with any other herb that I have there. And then the last one is the elderberry. So I took the sea moss and I infused it with the elderberry. And I have so many herbs there that you can choose from, and we infuse right there on site if you want to get a different type. And no, I do not do fruit flavors because fruit kills the herbs and it shortens the shelf life. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there because I'm not big on that because it kills the shelf life. And I think it takes away from the minerals that you need in the sea moss.
So if someone was getting the vegan capsules, or how many do you recommend people take a day? Like 1 a day, 2 a day?
Depending on your, like, how much you use. If you never had it before, then 1 capsule a day just to get it in your body, and it's 35 capsules to each bottle. But if you are a avid user and you've been using it, then 2 capsules a day. Same thing with the gel. A teaspoon the first time just to get used to it, and then you go to a tablespoon a day, you know, once it's in your body, because you don't want to go overkill. Sea moss does give you energy, so you don't want to be antsy all day long. People want to go to sleep, right? So you don't, you know, so just kind of slow walk it.
Right. Yeah.
And
Start slow and then build up if needed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So 1 a day and then kind of go from there. Very good. I love it. And then, and you're the real deal, just in case people are confused, right? This is the real deal. So tell us about other things that you're offering.
So as you can see at the top left, I am a motivational speaker. We're doing more so Zoom now. When the world opens back up, I can travel again. I am a certified health coach. So I not only walked in that path, I can actually help you get through yours and tell you more about it. You can schedule a consultation with me for 45 minutes to an hour. If you want health coaching, I do customized meal plans, and not only the cleanse, I do meal planning for you. I created everything in a database for you where you can just take the thinking out of it. I even go on down to a grocery list and tell you what to shop for. As you can see, my book, you can purchase that on Amazon or in store with me or on the website. And I just partnered with the Colonic Health and Wellness Center located on Cedar Road in University Heights.
Great.
Yeah, that's a wonderful facility where you can get colonic sessions done. So if you're not familiar with that, that's kind of cleansing your colon deep within. And not only the colon, more so the liver and spleen and all that kind of stuff too, when you get that deep. And just kind of resetting your system. You know, so if you're on a healthy weight loss track and you want to get all of the junk out of there, especially if you have a leaky gut, you want to do colonics at least 1 time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's fantastic. And so just a little bit about Green Harvest Health. We have 3 locations. Our main office is Pickerington. We have a west side in Hilliard, and we have a Cleveland office as well in Broadview Heights. And so you can find us at greenharvest.health. Call us on Facebook, GHH CBD, which is we have our own line of CBD products, as well as at Green Harvest Health on Facebook as well. If you are watching today, you can get 35% off any of our CBD products. Just go to Green Harvest Health CBD and put in the code GREEN35. And for some reason, people often forget that we actually do medical cannabis cards. So we'll do the evaluation and we'll help you get that card. And if you're watching today, you can get a card for $190. And again, a great deal of what we do is still CBD, and we're great proponents of it. We work with people to not only improve their situation and medically, but also financially. We have direct sales partners that are in brick and mortars as well, in retail stores, as well as home sales. We have affiliates that do more of ordering products, and they get a percentage of it. People that have worked with us for a while do distribution, and they're client builders and have their own clients that they're selling CBD to. And we always love a great brand ambassador, which we compensate for loving and sharing our products online. And there's always something that I'm into. So sometimes I actually have to organize myself just to know where I am. But tomorrow, Friday, February 5th, the Pickerington Women's Leadership Coalition has an event, Reaching Your Goals with a New Holistic Perspective. And so we'll be looking at CBD and cannabis, as well as sickle cell anemia talk this Saturday online. So let me this is the Women's Leadership Coalition. Just, you can Google them. They're in Pickerington, and sign up for that one. And it's tomorrow morning at 9. So I guess I should go to bed at, a decent hour, right? This is the Sickle Cell Talk, which I'm very excited about doing this weekend. And you can reserve and register for that at csceducation.com/events and be able to register. And we'll be talking to patients and the Sickle Cell Alliance and really talking about how cannabis and CBD can benefit patients as well. And February 15th, I do a monthly webinar for people who want to incorporate CBD into their lives, either as direct sales, either as white labeling. You have a brand, you have a following, you have a story, and you want to have a trusted CBD brand that you can put your name on. We're happy to help you with that, as well as providing services of education, helping you with making sure your clients are happy by doing consultations with them when needed, and making sure that this is something that's profitable and wonderful for you. And we also do custom product formulation. You have an idea and you're trying to figure out how to get it done, and we're happy to help you find the right group to get that done and get you there. The week of February 16th to the 20th, it is Wellness is Wealth, investing in your health with CBD. And this is through the Comeback Champion Summit, which is online. You go to comebackchampionsummit.com and you'll find all of this on YouTube. So definitely look for us there, as well as on Green Harvest Health and Dr. Bridget. You'll find this series as well. And that's about it. I don't know, Tim, I want to hear your words of wisdom, as you always do.
I mean, I'm just excited. I'm glad to be representing, the male species between these women. I mean, the Dos Equis, man, they got shit on y'all. You got all these events and stuff going on. I'm like, yes, let me Kelsey Grammer this thing and put stuff together. We're gonna figure this thing out. So I'm just excited and just privileged at the opportunity to just start something that we can continue to grow and expand.
Yes.
And, make this thing tangible in person and start setting up some, COVID-free and friendly events. And COVID-free meaning we're gonna do the proper things to make sure, everybody is safe and just, get people comfortable with stepping back outside and being social again. So
yeah.
I'm really
Little by little, we're getting there, right?
The slow walking. So I'm just excited about the opportunity to grow some stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Mary, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. And if you were in the Cleveland area or driving through the Cleveland area, you have to go to the Vitamin Cafe and experience this. I will be there next week and I'll be there at the end of the month as well. And so I'm excited to stop in and get nutrition the right way. And thank you for sharing your story. And hopefully, I believe you will have motivated people, and hopefully people will start out the rest of this week on the right foot. So
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good one, and reclaim your wellness. Make an effort. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.